Hello, everybody. I am Hoarder Gamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. I hope that you're doing well. New episode this week, as we have a new episode every week, or at least we try to. It would be fun one week if I just did a rerun, which would be like word for word off of a script from a previous episode, just to see if anyone would catch that. I think that'd be fun. Well, I think when you see a review from a comic book like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's supposed to be for a current episode, I think that would give it away. I think that would be the giveaway. We're going to cover some video games today. Then we're going to toy around, and then a whole lot of comic books. Looking into the future of comics, as well as a review of Universal Monsters Frankenstein #2 or issue 2. I believe on the actual book it says issue 1, issue 2, but I put just #2 because it's, the second issue. Okay, first up, we're going to talk about video games. And again, I've talked about this game constantly, maybe too much, maybe everyone's getting sick of it, but I have reason to talk about it this week, and hell, even next week. Diablo 4. The first big, massive expansion is coming out for Diablo 4 on October 8th. On that same day, October 8th, is the new season 6 for Diablo 4. Now, they don't like to go by numbers. Right now, it looks like it's possibly going to be the season of hatred, because before the game launched, they had some artwork that was shown, and it was Season of Hatred. Now we know that Hatred is also known as Mephisto, and Mephisto is a big part of the Vessel of Hatred expansion. So it would stand to reason this might be the season of hate or hatred. Could be either. Could be just the season of hate, Anyway, they put out a really cool launch trailer / commercial thing. It's about 2 minutes long, and there's a song about blood being in the water, which is really cool because the first teaser they had Narelle and a guide that was basically trying to help her in this boat, and things go terribly, terribly wrong, and there ends up to be blood in the water there. So I thought that was a really cool kind of callback and also foreshadowing for what will probably occur in that expansion. And there are some pretty cool things in that trailer. I basically documented, it's not obviously not word for word, but I do have like one quote in here. So we have the new region of Nahantu, and that's going to be where we face off against Mephisto and some very scary evil people, including the Burned Knights. They are called the Burned Knights, and they were in hell fighting with Anarius' side, along with Reverend Mother Prava, but they were nearly killed and somehow survived, and they became this militant sect of the Cathedral of Light. Even more frightening than the Cathedral of Light, which is hard to believe if you've played Diablo 4. Super Hour Podcast, hello! Let's see here. So, here's a great quote that the leader of the Burned Knights says. I won't do his accent. He has a really cool accent, but I won't do that. The heretic Narelle has fled holy judgment. So, it turns out the Burned Knights are not just after you, because you're basically a heretic too in the eyes of the Cathedral of Light. They're after Narelle. And now Narelle, you not only have to worry about the influence of Mephisto on Narelle, now you have to worry about the Burned Knights hunting her down as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. I'm very much looking forward to it. And yeah, the leader of the Burned Knights considers Narelle to be a heretic, and he's hunting her, and wants any information he can have or find on her whereabouts. So that's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Also, we have a spoiler alert. So I'll give everyone a few moments to like turn the volume down. Spoiler alert. Okay, in the trailer, they show what is probably one of the final forms of the boss, if not a second to last boss. Okay, and I mean, it's very possible you fight this before that, right? But it really looks like a near end boss. Okay, so here we go. The big giant wolf thing that you faced now actually has a name in Diablo 4. It is the Herald of Hatred. The Herald of Hatred. The wolf form of Mephisto is now the Herald of Hatred. Well, it's like that, but gigantic, and its head splits like something out of The Thing, which, insanely enough, 47 years old, just saw The Thing for the first time about a week and a half ago. Or Resident Evil. It looks like something out of that. But I doubt that is the final boss or the final form of the boss. I'm going to guess it'll be something that looks more like Mephisto did in Diablo 2, except a lot more detail and, you know, a little more pomp, a little more circumstance, you know. I think it'll be very cool. And, yes, so like I said, Inarius's death was this huge moment, and it basically caused rifts in the Cathedral of Light. So there might even be more than the 2 sects total now. There might be multiple factions of upset and angry, you know, scary people. The zealots, religious zealots, basically. Okay, so then they also talked about mercenaries, and I've mentioned that before. If you're playing single player, you get someone to play with now, okay? You have a demon child. You have a cannibal crone, a drunken archer, or a shield bearer. So you have 4 different types to choose from. And they go with you and they do their own thing, their own abilities and stuff like that, which is really cool. And they even thought about if people are playing co-op, that they could just show up for a specific single attack that you command. So technically you can't have a mercenary on the team full time if you're doing co-op, but there's a way to do a special attack and then the mercenary will show up and do their thing. So I thought that was a really cool way to have the mercenary involved, even if the person usually plays in multiplayer. So I thought that was awesome. And then we have the Dark Citadel. The Dark Citadel is the first mandatory co-op endgame content for Diablo 4. It's like a miniature raid, basically, and apparently it can like go differently. It's not going to be the same thing every time, which is really cool. And you kind of have to work together. You need some level of teamwork in order to get through the Dark Citadel. And then they have the underbelly or not Undercroft, but like the underneath of Nahantu. And that's going to be a gigantic dungeon that you delve into, similar to the big massive dungeon in the first Diablo game. Like it was like a 15 floor dungeon, but the levels were pretty large, so it took a while to get through it. And it was also very difficult. As I recall, I believe that was pretty balls to the wall difficult, that game. So, we are done with Diablo 4, but we are not done with gaming. Oh no. Oh no. Next up, we have Funko Fusion, and it had a huge quality of life update. So before I get into it, basically it's like a teen to adult version of a Lego game made by former Lego game developers, and it features over 20 popular franchises, most of them owned by Universal, including Chucky, Megan, The Thing, Scott Pilgrim, let's see, not Jurassic World, Jaws, Back to the Future, the Umbrella Academy. And surprisingly enough, Umbrella Academy was one of the best worlds I went through. The love and attention to detail, and even licensing songs used from the show. Plus, it covers like the first 3 seasons of Umbrella Academy. Like, there's a lot left out, but you get Hazel and Cha Cha, the 2 assassins, and you get these cool like mini boss battles against them, and they kind of run away after you figure out how to defeat them. That's really neat. Then they have, I think it's called, is it the Time Authority? It's a different. I thought the name was very similar to the TVA that they have in, Marvel, the MCU, but it's something similar to that, and it's like time agents. In fact, Hazel and Cha Cha are actually 2 of those time agents, not just assassins. So, but yeah, I thought they did an incredible job with the Umbrella Academy. So, back to the quality of life update. Rebalanced bosses and enemy encounters. So that was really important. And I will say this, though, I got to be completely honest with you. I've been playing through the Masters of the Universe levels, and I've done the first one, I'm on the second one, and it doesn't seem like that love was shown on that world. It's brutally difficult. There are just so many enemies, and it's like you're in the middle of a war, but you have to constantly figure out puzzles. You have to place a portal in specific places in order to use it to get to other parts of the map. And yeah, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. And I really think that they could tone that down. I don't know if they showed any love to that specific world. The patch notes go through the changes, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So let's see. What else here? Oh, it's less costly to open up new worlds. So it used to be a certain amount of crowns that you needed in order to open up another world. Let's say you were working on the Thing. You're like 2 levels into the Thing, and each of the main worlds has 5 levels to it. And you're like, hey, I want to play something else. So let's say you want to do Jurassic World. It would be less crowns for you to go and open up another floor, which would get you access to another world than it did before. So it's the idea of you opening up more worlds and not being stuck in one world you may not love and being forced to go through all 5 levels of it. Okay? And then also, when you complete the first level of a world, at that point you can bring in characters from another world and do a whole mess of cool things there. So you have the ability to do some of the things that, would take you 2 or 3 attempts before, because you'd have to have all these other characters unlocked, depending on the order you went through the worlds. Each world has an item in it, and that's necessary for you to do certain puzzles and things. So, case in point, Masters of the Universe has a portal. It's a portable portal. You move it around, and you can use these, like, frames that become other portals, but you need to have that portal yourself. Also, Battlestar Galactica, they have the 1970s version in this game. And with that, you get a turret, and you need that to open up certain doors. So, yeah, each world has its own item, and that's important too. So, now, the big surprise that Sony had at a State of Play yesterday. Like, it was actually a shocking surprise. The Ghost of Yotei. It's a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, and it's announced to drop in 2025, and it takes place over 300 years later with a new lady protagonist, and it looks awesome. It looks really cool. However, as you might guess, Gamergate chuds are already at it, but they're surprisingly seeing a lot of pushback, and maybe people are realizing, that they're grifters. We can only hope. We can only hope. But yeah, I think it looks amazing. Comes out in 2025. Plus, they're going to be doing a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, almost a remake, because they went through and did a whole mess, like 10 hours of mocap and voiceover work, And that's just like a little bit of what they did with it. It looks incredible, and it's at the visual caliber now of Forbidden West, the sequel. So yeah, that's pretty much all the video game news we have right now. So also, minor things, Epic Mickey came out yesterday, and again there's some really weird issue where games are not being shipped correctly or normally, and everyone has to wait a week to get games now. I don't know what it is. I'm still trying to understand that, but yeah. Also, Legend of Zelda, I believe it's the Age of Wisdom or Wisdom of Age. I totally screwed that name up. I totally did. Well, the most important thing is the reviews so far have been stellar, and it's supposed to be an incredibly creative entry into Legend of Zelda. Plus, after over 30 years, you get to play as Zelda. So, I know IGN had a review. I believe GameSpot has a review out, and a number of other outlets as well. So, I haven't had a chance to look at any of those reviews yet, but I am looking forward to the game, and that actually comes out tomorrow. Nintendo likes to kind of buck the trends, and like now they like to have their big titles hit on Thursdays for whatever reason. It used to be Fridays all the time, but then other studios started to release their games on Fridays. So Nintendo was like, we are special snowflakes. I say that not to be mean. I say that just like I could see like Nintendo thinking that, right? And no, our games come out on Thursdays now. So yeah, the new Legend of Zelda, where you get to play as Zelda, comes out tomorrow. So a lot to look forward to, especially I would say the Zelda game. Epic Mickey looks awesome. The demo was great. I look forward to playing it. I'm actually going to stream it myself in the near future. But the Zelda is probably going to be next level. It's going to be really neat. Okay, we are done now completely with video games for the week. Next up, we are going to toy around. And first up, I have for you 3 Decepticons and a little lady. No, it's not. It's not the sequel to 3 Men and a Little Baby. Oh no, actually, it's probably 3 Men and a Baby. I'm guessing. I don't know why you would put little in there. I don't know why that would be a necessary descriptor. Babies are usually little, unless it's like, you know, Honey, I Blew Up the Baby or something like that. But no, here we have Astro Train, Starscream, and I want to say Blitzkrieg, but I think I have that name wrong, and I apologize. I'm a huge fan of the Triple Changers, especially Astro Train. This pack sells for $109.99, so you get all 3 of them. And what's really interesting is it's in the Takara packaging. So Japanese language instructions. I definitely think if it's any issue, like, you know, there'll still be like the really cool pictures to show you how to do the transformations. But if you're having an issue with the transformations, I'm sure you can also go online and find like the English language or whatever language you need instructions in order to transform them. But yeah, the big deal here is, I guess, the Astro Train, because they did one with totally different coloring apparently, and that was years ago and it's no longer available. So it might be Blitzwing. You know, Blitzwing might actually be the name of the tank slash jet. I think it's Blitzwing. Anyway, yeah, I think this is a really cool 3-pack. I think $109.99 for roughly three $30 Transformers isn't bad. They might have been more like $35. I'm not exactly sure what the cost was of the original versions that were released. I do know that the, again, we'll say Blitzwing has a separate version you can purchase, as well as the Starscream. But the coloring version of that Astro Train, I think, is unique and very much mirrors the original like version from the cartoon. So, yeah, I really do like this 3-pack quite a bit. And pre-orders are live for this. Big Bad Toy Store has it. Hasbro Pulse, I believe Entertainment Earth. Again, anything you order, if you go through Entertainment Earth, I actually do get some like benefit from that, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Also, let's see here. We have next up Superpowers. This is the McFarlane line of Superpowers toys, which evokes the original series that came out in the, I'd say, early to mid 80s. They had like Penguin, and they had Brainiac, Superman, Batman. They had a ton of characters. Now it's neat, they kind of embellish a bit, and they'll have characters like, the Batman Who Laughs. Like characters that were not even there, didn't even exist back then, and now they're released as Superpowers figures. So this new series is Superman, Riddler, Batman in the black and gray outfit, and Bizarro. So what's really cool about these is they're only $9.99. Price point for these figures is only $10, which I think is really good. They're roughly about, I'd say, 4.5 inches to 5 inches tall. I don't know exactly the scale they go for with these figures. And let's see, what else would I say? There's quite a few to choose from too. So this is like, gosh, I want to say the 4th or 5th series of figures from them. So there's quite a few to get, and at only $10, I don't think they're bad at all. Now, I will warn you, like, the paint jobs are not like quite as stellar as they are on the more expensive McFarlane toys. But again, it's a $10 price point. So I think most people understand and don't have a serious problem with that. So yeah, but I think those are pretty cool, and those pre-orders are live now as well. $9.99 a piece, or I believe this pack is like $40. So it's not like a discount or anything, but you're getting all 4 of them. Next up, we have Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon series from the 1990s. And if you notice, this is the popular moment in that cartoon series where Spider-Man decapitates the Green Goblin. No, that's actually just, his mask. That's not his. It's not, his head isn't in there. That's just like the mask. But I think that's a very cool piece. That's a very cool extra that it comes with. Next up, we have everything else you get. So you get the Peter Parker head that looks just like it did in the cartoon. You get an extra Spider-Man head. What looks like black webbing, and I'm thinking might have to do with like Venom or something when they do a Venom figure, because I'm sure they will. And then, of course, you get that Green Goblin mask, kind of sort of head that he can hold, as well as a Spider-Man mask from like the point where he's like, no more Spider-Man, and he's like throwing it in the garbage. It's like a real popular cover, that whole thing. So he's got that mask there. Numerous spider hands. You get a lot of spider hands here, a number of spider webs. You get his camera. And here's the thing. This is the limited edition exclusive. So to get that Green Goblin mask, what again I think is like Venom webbing, black Venom webbing, and then another Spider-Man profile. That's what they call the extra heads now on these toys, profiles. You're looking at $240. This is, though, a 12-inch figure. And this is Mondo. So think of this similar to what you would Hot Toys. Don't look at this as like McFarlane or Hasbro or anything like that. More compare this to something like Hot Toys. Now, the difference here, though, is I believe this is all like plastic, and with Hot Toys, there would actually be like a material outfit on Spider-Man. Like, it would be an insane amount. Like, the detail here is great, don't get me wrong, but like that would have it to the next level, but it would also probably be another $50. So this one's going with the exclusive parts for $240. The base version is $220, and orders are live. There are only 1,500 of this exclusive version. And right before I started the show, I found out that it is still available. So they still have a number of those 1500 still available. And there's, I believe it's unlimited, or they're going to make for quite a while, the regular version, which is everything you see there except in the box. Those 3 items in the box don't come with it. So, okay, everybody, we are done toying around for this week. Next up, it is time for us to look into the future of comic books. All the way to 1 week from today. Okay, and first up we have Creature Commandos #1, written by David Dastmalchian. Yes, the awesome actor that was in the movie The Suicide Squad and played the Polka Dot Man is doing Creature Commandos. And Frankenstein, a werewolf, a dead soldier. It's probably going to be a wild and crazy time. David has also done a book called, David has also done a book called Count Crowley. He's written that as well. And yeah, a number of awesome TV and movie performances. So Creature Commandos, I think, looks awesome. And it was actually a surprise to me. Like, I knew it was coming, I just didn't know it was in this upcoming week. So I might review this, but there's quite a lot of interesting stuff this week, so I can't commit to it quite yet. Creature Commandos comes out next week. Next up, the Venom War is heating up. It is heating up. So now the Venom War involves Eddie Brock, Dylan Brock, his son, and the original holder of Venom, Peter Parker. And in the last issue, when it basically got all over Peter, it remembered how much it liked him. So very interesting. At the end of Venom War, we're going to have apparently a new Venom. So I don't know exactly what that means, what it looks like. It does mean that the spider is gold, apparently. Like the Venom type spider thing on the chest. Apparently it's gold now. But that's all I know. I've been enjoying Venom War. It's basically told like a big knockdown, drag out wrestling match. But then there's a lot more to it because you're looking at all the different characters involved. And, you know, it's like a galactic level wrestling match. So, Venom War #3. Next up, we have something a little bit freaky, a little bit scary. We have Hyde Street. Okay, one of the Ghost Machine comic books. And a horror, it looks like a horror anthology, but I'm not sure if it is yet. Apparently, it's the world's most dangerous or frightening Boy Scout, as well as a man with X-ray specs and Miss Good Body. And the idea is that in every, like, you know, city, town, village, down a dirt road, you could find Hyde Street. Okay? And yeah, I don't know exactly if it's a horror anthology or what it is, or if these characters are in each issue, but I'm very interested to check it out. Now, Ghost Machine had like a, what would you call that? I guess almost a primer that gave you a little taste of all their books, including things like Red Coat and Rook. And Hyde Street for me was one of the most interesting. And, you know, about 6 months later, here we go. We can actually check out and see what Hyde Street 1 looks like. Now, there's a good chance I would review this because I've been waiting for it and I have no idea really what to expect from it. But it does seem a little Twilight Zone-like, so I'm interested to see if it is like horror anthology or what exactly it is. Hyde Street. Anyone that knows me knows that I love Batman. It's actually my favorite superhero. And Batman 153 is a jumping on point. A brand new story arc is starting next week. So if you like Batman but haven't read it in a long time, this is a great time to jump on. Chip Zdarsky is an excellent writer. I've been enjoying his stuff a lot. He created a new villain called Failsafe, who has been a part recently of the Absolute Power crossover in DC Comics, which will tie into a book we're going to talk about in just a moment. But yeah, this is a great jumping on point. Apparently the Riddler is going to be a big part of this story, and the arc is called The Dying City. And a very important, prominent person in Gotham City is found dead. And I guess the repercussions of that are what this story arc is going to be about. So it should be really cool. Batman 153 next week. And now, hopefully you're all in for DC All In. The repercussions of Absolute Power and, Darkseid showing up apparently are going to lead to another Earth with different versions of the heroes that we love. A Batman that isn't rich and doesn't have a butler. A Wonder Woman who is even more intense, and Superman I don't really know that much about, I'll be honest with you. This new version anyway. But it's All In is going to be like a special that leads us into the absolute versions of Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. And who knows, perhaps other Absolute books we don't even know about yet. So basically different takes on these beloved characters by some of the luminaries in comic books, like the best artists and writers. So I'm really looking forward to it. You could say I'm definitely all in. But yeah, also another good chance I'd review this next week. This might be what I have to review because of how important it's going to be to the DC universe. I usually don't like to do 2 reviews, but who knows? Maybe next week I'll have to do All In and Height Street. Might have to. Might have no choice. Marvel All In is better. I don't know about that. But this is DC All In. And it's already interesting because if you're looking at that symbol in the center there, it's similar to the Omega that Darkseid uses. But it's, you know, a bit off, a bit not quite the same. And apparently the Darkseid we're going to meet in this special is not the Darkseid we're used to. So I'm very interested in seeing what exactly that means. They're not quite saying what it means. DC All In coming out next week. And with that, everybody, we are done looking at the near future of comic books, all the way to 1 week from today. Next up, we have our review of this week, and that is Frankenstein, like I said, issue 2. Instead of numbers, apparently they actually put it in actual words on their issue 2. Another awesome issue of this mini-series. 4 issues for this series. We're halfway done at this point, and it takes the original Frankenstein movie. It adds nuance. It adds deeper characterization. Some really cool twists you're not expecting. I love it. I think it's really damn good. Michael Walsh does awesome artwork. This cover, again, is his art. This is his work right here. And, yeah. The doctor who creates this version of Frankenstein, his assistant is not having what you would call a good day. Things go very disastrously bad for him. And what's really wild, as great as this issue is, you are forced to read issue 1 because what they did here is tell a story that starts before the events, okay, of issue 1, and then moves through those events. So otherwise, you'd have characters just kind of walking into a room and like, wait, what's that person doing there? Who are all these people? It's very much meant that you're supposed to read all 4 issues. And right now, this is issue 2, so I don't think it's too bad to try hunting down issue 1 and check this out. Right now, I think I'm even more floored by this, at least the writing aspect of it, than I was with Dracula. Now, again, I want to say it was James Tynion IV did a very good job with Dracula, but the artwork was completely astounding and really took over in that version of the Universal monster character. So I still have to read. I think now it might be out with an actual trade paperback, the Creature from Black Lagoon. I haven't read that yet, but yes, Frankenstein I've been loving. I love the artwork and the twists, and it's almost like darkly comic here, and at times extremely grim. It's really neat stuff. And again, there's only 2 issues left, so we'll have one that comes out in October, one in November, and then we're done with Frankenstein. Maybe they'll do the Invisible Man next. I don't think they've done the Wolfman yet. But yeah, they get some of the best writers and artists to take over and do this really neat miniseries for different Universal horror characters, and every creator puts their own spin on it. And the 2 I've been well, the one I'm reading right now, of course, Frankenstein, and the one I've already read, Dracula, were great. Okay, everybody, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Thank you. If for whatever reason you want a little bit more Hoarder in your life, you can watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/HoarderGamer. Right now I'm streaming Funko Fusion. Well, not at the exact moment as, as I'm saying this, because I'm, doing this video here. But around this time, I'm doing Funko Fusion. And also I'll be doing Epic Mickey very soon. Looking forward to Dragon Age, the Veil Guard. I think that's going to be super awesome. And once the quality of life patch comes out, I'll be going back to Star Wars Outlaws, which I think is a great game. It just needs some quality of life love, man. Some quality of life. Also, XLM, who's in chat currently, he and I have games on a plane. So tomorrow you can check us out as we play games on a plane, just at gamesonaplane.com. And finally, Super Hour, Hero Mentor, Hoarder Gamer as co-host. And we have TV. We have maybe a little comics, some gaming, and, so possibly a guest in the second half hour of our hour-long show. The idea was Sundays, but now it jumps around a little bit depending on if we're going to have guests. So I can't give you an exact date for each episode, but I can say that we're going to have an episode available on YouTube on Sunday for the next episode. So this next Sunday. Okay, everybody. With that all out of the way, again, thank you. I don't harp and preach on it. If you like the show, feel free to sub. If you know anyone else that likes comics, toys, or games, or would, maybe just dig the experience, then totally, tell them about it. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.